beating a team quarterbacked by an H-back in less than impressive fashion did not convince me. I'm still highly concerned about the Cowboys' offense, both phases of it, the pass game and the run game. The pass game, Dak had a few marvelous throws. The one throw over the middle on a key third down to CeeDee Lamb, I still don't know how he fit that in. And the touchdown pass in the corner to Gallup was a good throw and an even better catch. Just a perfect catch. I thought Troy and Joe were going to pass out with how impressed they were. I mean, this is an unbelievable play. An unbelievable play. With that said, the passing offense, Broussard, still, to me, left a lot of meat on the bone. Bad pick late when they could have, or in the second half when they could have put the game away. So that's a little concerning. But I'm even more concerned with the rushing attack. And if you didn't watch the full game, you're like, Nick, 24 for 146. But that's misleading. 33 of those yards were on a pass. The throw to CeeDee Lamb that just happened to go a half yard backwards, so it's called a run. And then CeeDee Lamb did amazing stuff to get down to the one. So you can scratch that off the board. Tony Pollard had one amazing run on the sweep for 58 yards, this play here. But aside from that, he was 6 carries for 13 yards. Zeke did nothing until the final run of the game. Until the final run of the game where the Saints had missed the onside kick and they were defeated. He had 10 yards on it. Aside from that, he was 12 for 35. And so Dallas, I understand we can't take away this run here, Broussard. It's a brilliant play by Tony Pollard.
Right.
But when they're at their best, they're consistently getting 6 yards, 4 yards, 8 yards, and they weren't able to do that. Dak still looks to me a little shaky post-injury, and so no, last night did not make me regain massive confidence about their ability to go on a long playoff run.
Yeah, look, I agree with everything you said, Nick, and my answer is no. I thought last night was like walking through a desert and finding a bottle of water. It satisfies you. It quenches your thirst, but you still got a long way to go, right? And that's what the Cowboys were. They needed this. We talked about yesterday how badly they needed this victory. It did convince me that they'll win. They'll hold off and win the NFC least. All right? It convinced me of that.
Sure.
But anything beyond that they can beat a Tampa Bay, beat a Green Bay, not to mention some of the other contenders in the NFC, no, I am not convinced because, and we'll get to Taysom Hill later, but I honestly, guys, and he's a third-string quarterback, all right? And they were without, I mean, people don't know how injury-depleted New Orleans was. Without their two starting tackles, obviously without their best player, Alvin Kamara, best offensive player, Michael, their receiver, he's been out all year.
Michael Thomas been out all year.
And so, yeah. And so I also don't think that Taysom Hill, even though I'm not saying he's Drew Brees, I don't think he throws 4 interceptions if he doesn't injure his finger early in the game. And I know it had to be tough throwing with that splint. I'm not making an excuse for him, but this is a 10-point game midway through the fourth quarter against an injury-depleted team with a third-string quarterback who's got a bad foot and a bad finger, and you barely beat him, or, you don't beat him impressively. So I'm with you, Nick. It almost seems like Kellen Moore and the Cowboys are afraid to run Tony Pollard more because they think he'll get injured. I don't know if they just feel like they got to give Zeke more carries. He really looks like he needs a week off. I know this will be a long break for them, about 10 days. So that may help him, but he's doing nothing with that bad right knee. Pollard deserves more carries, but again, are they skittish about giving them to him because they think he's too small to handle it? But Wild's not overly impressed, but just what the doctor ordered for the Cowboys as far as getting that W.
All right, so here's the thing about Taysom Hill. The whole idea of Taysom Hill is rooted in what's Taysom Hill going to do? Is he going to throw it? Is he going to run it? Is he going to hurdle you? Is he going to fumble it? Who knows? And once his finger got hurt, everybody knew what was going to happen. he was either going to underthrow the ball and the Saints wide receivers are going to have to pick it up off the carpet, or he was going to run. And Broussard, you mentioned this. This is a 10-point game. I want to say it's a great play by Micah Parsons. At the same time, this is just a terrible play call from Sean Payton. At this time, it is 3rd and 2 at the Dallas 26. There's about 10 million people watching this game. And Troy mentioned, he's like, I think Taysom is going to run it here. Every single person, all 10 million people watching this game say, you know what? Taysom is not throwing. One of those 10 million people, Micah Parsons. This turned into a punt. This turned into from we're driving to get a touchdown, Nick, into a punt. It's a great play by Micah Parsons, but I felt like Taysom was so limited. It's hard for me to give any accolades to the Dallas defense.
Taysom
yes, he
was so Taysom.
Don't rip that. This was a good drive.
Taysom.
This was a good
Stop
drive.
It. The reason Taysom Hill is not a quarterback is because Wright wilds, but because a higher percentage of his dropbacks end in either a sack or a turnover than any other quarterback in the league. That was true when he went 3-1 as a starter that you were all fascinated with. It's always been true. He takes the killer sack more often than any quarterback in the league because he thinks he's still at BYU and he thinks he's the best athlete on the field. You're not. You're not going to get past Micah Parsons, everybody. Nice, you're dead there. And by the way, maybe everyone thought this was a run. He was supposed to pass it. He's got his tight end over the middle for the first down. This is a passing play, and he takes points off the board. Taysom's awful. Like, by the way, you're right, we're going to talk about Taysom later, but to quote Colin Cowherd, I won the argument. Okay, America? Taysom Hill is a mediocre running back. He is not. Broussard called him a third-string quarterback. That's nice of Broussard. Maybe a third-string quarterback. So, and that's why it's hard to grade the Cowboys when the other team is calling a fan out of the stands to play quarterback for him. How valuable is the win really? And so I just here's what I feel very confident in, Broussard. Because you said it, the Cowboys are going to win the NFC East. We are barreling towards one of the most impactful, important wild card weekend games of the last decade. Rams at Cowboys. The loser of that game, it will have franchise-changing repercussions because the Rams are not going to catch the Cardinals in their division, so they will be the top wild card. Dallas, I believe, is going to be the worst of the 4 division winners. So you're going to have 4-5 Rams at Cowboys. Whichever of those teams, which really believed a month ago we're going to the Super Bowl, doesn't even make it out of round 1, Broussard, it's going to have some real soul-searching about how they get over the hump just to get to the actual hump that is the Super Bowl.
Well, and here's the thing, Nick, and we'll get to, you were a little hard on Taysom, all right? Just settle down a little bit, all right? You were tough on him. We'll get to him later. But the Cowboys, the thing is, the Rams, I think this is who the Rams are. The defense, for whatever reason, is not as good as it was a year ago. And offensively, they overrated Matt Stafford. He's good. He's very good. Right. But they overrated him. Dallas is the team that'll look in the mirror. If they lose to the Rams in what you said will be that first round, matchup, they're going to be the ones to look in the mirror and say, we blew it. We shouldn't have even been here in this game. We had a light schedule. We got a horrible division. And why are we playing, against the top wild card? So they're going to look back with regrets, even more so, I think, than the Rams as far as just this season. The Rams will regret all the draft picks they gave up for the future.
Thanks for watching. Subscribe here to get the latest from the show. Also, be sure to check out more of the best clips from First Things First, or go watch a few segments from our other shows on FS1.